My name is Adam Clark, and I never thought I'd be able to turn the most terrifying night of my life into words. But maybe this is the only way to keep myself sane, because even now, when I close my eyes, the same voices crawl through my bones. If you're listening to this, remember one thing: some places aren't empty, they wait. This happened last year when I escaped to a small mountain town in Colorado for a couple of quiet days. I was running from my life noise, heartbreak, pressure, everything. I just needed silence. Behind the cabin I rented stood a tall, broken stone structure the locals called the deserted fort. No one went near it. They said, people who disappear, their whispers stay there. I laughed it off then, assuming it was just a mountain town legend. Maybe that's why I made the mistake of going there. It was evening. The sky torn in red and blue streaks when I approached the fort with a flashlight in my hand. Its windows looked like hollow eyes, dead but watching. The moment I stepped inside, a cold gust hit my back so sharply it felt like someone whispered, "Stop." I tried to laugh it off, it was just the wind. But nothing that happened that night was just anything. Inside, the darkness felt too heavy, like the flashlight wasn't strong enough to cut through it. Cobwebs hung low, broken floorboards creaked under my boots, and the walls were covered in strange claw-like scratches. I felt watched. Every time I turned, I thought I saw a shadow slip out of sight, but there was never anyone there. Then, suddenly, from the floor above, I heard it, soft, uneven footsteps. My heart tightened. I told myself it was an animal, but those footsteps sounded human-like, almost weightless. Like something wasn't walking, but dragging itself. I climbed the stairs, and halfway up, I felt it breathing. Something warm, heavy, and wet exhaled from beneath each step as I moved. I climbed faster until I reached a narrow hall, scorched with burn marks, as if a fire had once crawled along its walls. At the far end, a door sat slightly open. Under it, something shifted. A long, broken human finger slid across the floor. My breath stopped. I blinked once, twice. The finger was gone. Inside the room, the walls were covered with red and black symbols, messy and jagged, like someone drew them while screaming. One symbol stood out a circle with 3 lines inside it, like a mouth forced open. Then a breath brushed my ear. I spun, light shaking in my hand. But the room was empty. That's when I saw the writing smeared on the corner wall. Dried and dark like old blood. It follows the one who listens. My stomach dropped. I had heard the footsteps. My instincts screamed at me to leave. I turned toward the hallway and froze. It wasn't the same hallway anymore. It was distorted, twisted, bent, like the walls had shifted while I was inside. And in the center of the hall stood a shadow. Tall, thin. Its neck bent at an unnatural angle, and its eyes were nothing but 2 deep black holes staring straight at me. I stepped back. It stepped forward. I ran. I sprinted toward where the stairs had been, but instead of stairs, I found a solid stone wall. The fort was changing, closing in, trapping me. Behind me, the creature's footsteps echoed, like bones tapping stone. I grabbed a broken beam and dashed through another passage. But every hallway twisted, stretched, sealed, as if the building breathed and reshaped itself to cage me inside. It felt alive and hungry. Feeding on my fear, I stumbled into a wide, empty room with only a single wooden chair in the center. On that chair sat a half-broken mannequin, torso, headless, arms shattered. I turned around, and the creature was standing in the doorway, closer than ever. Its cold breath touched my throat. Its hollow pits stared as if they recognized me, as if it remembered something about me that I wished I didn't know. Then its neck started twisting, slow lie bones cracking one by one, the sound echoing like snapping branches. I backed into the wall as it stepped closer, and then, in a voice like someone drowning beneath water, it whispered, "Why? You?" Listened. The ceiling rattled violently and stones began falling as cracks ripped across the walls. I saw my chance when one wall split open. I crawled through the gap, tumbled down the rocky slope outside, and ran without looking back until the fort disappeared behind the trees. A year has passed since that night. But every time I try to sleep, I feel someone standing in the corner of my room, tall, thin, neck bent, and those empty black pits stare at me without blinking. It remembers, because I listened, and now, it follows me. If you want me to tell you about the nights that came after, nights I've never shared with anyone, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Hauntra TV. The darkness ahead is far worse than what you just heard.